This is TechVibe Radio, your front row seat to Pittsburgh's technology and innovation ecosystem. TechVibe is brought to you by Compunetics at Compunetics.com, Chorus Call at ChorusCall.com, Highmark at Highmark.com, Huntington Bank at Huntington.com, Kindling at TheKindlingAgency.com, PNC Bank at PNC.com, and Savier at Savier.com. Here are your hosts, Audrey Russo and Jonathan Kirsting of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, coming at you from the Huntington Bank studios. Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad you're spending Sunday morning hanging out with us on TechVibe Radio. Audrey, I know last time I checked, student loan debt is ridiculous out there. It's like a problem.
Ridiculous meaning?
First off, the amount of debt that's out there is crazy, right?
Right.
And the fear of paying it back, right? I mean, I remember 30 years ago, oh my gosh, when I graduated from college, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to start making these payments. I mean, it was stressful. And what I'm really excited about today is there's a Pittsburgh company here that's kind of addressing that in a very cool and unique way. I'm talking about a company called LoanBye. If you go to loanbye.com, that's LOANBYE.com, you can really dive into it, because we like it when people like surf and listen to TechVibe at the same time, right?
I love when they do that, because
Yes.
we know they do that.
Because they multitask, just like we all do, right? But we have Michael Fabus here from LoanBye to talk about the company, what they're doing, and really talk more about, I mean, obviously a growing problem and how they have a really cool solution that's beneficial for both folks with student loans and, of course, the employers that they work for as well, too. So it's a really kind of kill two birds with one stone solution. So, Michael, welcome to TechVibe today. We're so glad to have you on with us.
Thanks, guys. No, it's exciting. I appreciate it.
That's great. So you are the founder, Michael, of this company?
No, I could say I am, but that would be the first lie of this podcast. I'm part of the founding group. There's about 5 or 6 of us that really started this, and really it's still only about maybe 7 or 8 of us doing everything.
And how long ago did you start this?
The idea was probably about 5 years ago, but it's really started coming to fruition over the last 12 to 18 months to really piecing some things together, because everyone has a day job as well. And this is a startup company that everyone's kind of doing as, I want to say like a side gig. But it's a pretty big side gig that we're hoping turns into a regular day job.
You're saying that there's a big problem. Student debt is massive, and it leaves people anchored in not a great way as they start to launch out of school.
So roughly it's about $1.75 trillion of student loan debt.
What does that mean in terms of average? Like, what's the average amount of debt?
It is about $37,000 per student. You're talking about 43 million people.
Wow. Yeah.
And so what does a $36,000 debt look like in a monthly payment? What does that look like?
So the average payment went up in about 10 years, like 05 to 16, from 227 to 393. Now that 10 years more is probably a little bit more. I don't know that exact number, but
That's
you can
good.
see that was
good.
even 10 years ago. That was almost $400. So it's a lot.
It's a lot. And we're saying that that's average. So I can't even imagine what median is, what that lies.
Right. Think about doctors and nurses and individuals like that.
Okay. So then tell us what are the core, services that you offer. So Jonathan and I own a company. Tell us how it works.
So one of the things we tried to do is to keep this very simple, because there are other companies that do services like this. However, they offer additional services like financing loans and offering loans and refinancing loans. So we didn't want to get into that just yet. So our loan product, or I should say platform, is I would come to you and say, hey, I checked out your website. I know you have, you're roughly about 150, 200 people on staff. You have about 20 openings. You're telling me your turnover is pretty high per year. So we can help you with your talent retention and talent attraction. And what that means is you can offer a student loan repayment benefit to your employees however you choose. You could choose any amount, any timing of payment. It just has to fall within the $5,250 that's tax-free allotted to an employee for a year. And that's part of educational assistance benefits that are it's pretty standard. But what this means is, let's just say you want to do $100 a month for employees that have this debt. First, we get you signed up in about 15 minutes. Then we find out who's actually eligible for this in your staff through a series of questionnaires and your help as well. They opt in as you give them the option to do this. They qualify, they pick the loan they want to pay down quicker. That gets put all into through our business partners who we are basically just an intermediary. We don't touch the money. We don't see the money. We have partners that do this and do this well and do this for other companies. So we don't touch the money. We just push the platform. So basically what happens is that $100 is until the end of 2025, completely tax-free for the employer and the employee. So it's tax-free as part of the CARES Act of 2020.
Okay.
So at the end of 2025, that is supposed to end. We don't know for sure, but we have a pretty good feeling just based on talk that they may extend that because this has been such a big deal and continues to be, regardless of what happens today, right? It's still an important issue.
So if I'm an employer and I want to offer this, and Jonathan has a debt of $100,000 and he's paying $700 a month, right? I might offer to pay $100 of that a month. Correct. Okay.
Or 50, or you could do a sign-on bonus. We've actually had a client of ours who said every December we're going to give them as much as left in that educational assistance benefit. So some may only have 3,000, some might have 5,250, but here you go. And people couldn't believe it. They were like, wait a minute.
The incentive for me as an employer is it's a retention opportunity. Is it tax deferred for the employee?
Tax-free.
It's tax-free.
Tax-free for everybody right now.
Okay. Got it.
Well, and the nice thing about that is even if they stop the tax-free for the employers, it still can be part of that educational assistance program, which is tax-free, which is basically where tuition reimbursement fits in as well.
Interesting. I love it.
And what we try and make people understand is we're not trying to solve for the student loan debt issue. We're trying to solve for talent retention, and talent attraction issue for employers, but making them understand that there's a financial wellness and employee wellness issue here as well.
Absolutely. This is a great pause point for us because I would love to come back and talk more about how this is a great tool to attract and retain talent, because I think this is something that really stands out and I think is super unique in the marketplace. In case you just tuned in, we are talking to Michael Fabus of LoanBye. Go to LoanBye, LoanBye.com and check it out. We're taking a quick break, Audrey, but we're coming right back. The last time I checked, we're from the Pittsburgh Tech Council. Go to pghtech.org. This is Jonathan Kirsting.
And this is Audrey Russo.
And we'll be right back, I swear. Compunetics is the leading developer of unified voice, video, and data collaboration and conferencing applications for the service provider, government, and unique workflow applications. The Summit Olympus and Evergreen platforms, driven by their encrypted user interfaces, enable powerful and secure collaboration. Combined with world-class support and innovative professional services, Compunetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com. Every company needs to attract and keep talented people. To do it, you need a strong company story told by those who experience it every day, your employees. So invite your people to be your brand voice and let the Kindling Culture Agency gather and ignite your stories to engage and attract your people. Learn how at sparksomething.big.com. That's sparksomething.big.com. Your dial is set to TechVibe Radio, brought to you by Compunetics
Chorus Call, Highmark, Huntington Bank, Kindling, PNC Bank, and Savier. Here are your hosts, Audrey Russo and Jonathan Kirsting of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, coming at you from the Huntington Bank studios.
Good morning, everybody. If you just tuned in, we are talking to Michael Fabus of LoanBye. Audrey, I love the story that he's telling us this morning because I just feel like this is such a cool solution when it comes to attracting and retaining talent. And I think it's a great solution for folks that are strapped with some debt and they're trying to find a faster, more efficient way of paying it off. So I'm starting to say this now. This might be my new statement now, Audrey, is like only in Pittsburgh do we have cool companies like this, right?
It's great solving hard problems. I mean, there was talk of an executive order at one point to, add more to our country's deficit by allowing all these loans to go paid, right, and get students, out of debt. And I love this opportunity here that these guys have created. I think they're all guys, but I could be wrong. And that they've created in terms of offering. And it might be something, Jonathan, I may need to think about offering at the Tech Council.
I like that. Very cool. Audrey, I like the way you think, man. And Mike's like, yeah, let's talk about that.
And Mike, we do have two women on staff. They're the smarter ones. It's other than us, just us dudes who are just doing the work.
Exactly. They're doing the real work.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about this. So you allow flexibility, right, to the amount that employers can contribute to their employees' loans. Is it required that the employees have a match and that they're making some payments as well? Is that required?
Yes, they should be up to date on their payments.
Okay.
And actually, the employer can require that in order for the employee to qualify for their plan.
Because this is another great perk. And this perk definitely has to have some stickiness in terms of employee retention as well. And you can start this program at any time and stop it at any time?
Correct, because it's a voluntary benefit. So,
Wow.
I mean, you have to have student loan debt. Federal, this does not cover private loans. So that's the stipulation there. There has to be
you won't
federal
cover
loans.
my American Express bill that keeps.
Yeah, we don't cover shopping.
Unfortunately,
we don't cover shopping bills.
But I swear it was used for my college education.
Close the way to college, right?
We believe you. We believe you.
Well, it's funny. It's funny they talk about that you were just talking about the employers offering this, and this survey was done a couple of years back, but about 84% of employees ages 21 to 64 say they would prioritize working for an employer who offered a benefit like this over one that doesn't. And that's substantial.
Wow. Well, I love that. I think in some ways this is really a no-brainer.
That's what we think.
A no-brainer. So you're saying your website cites some statistics like 86% of employees would commit 5 years to a company helping with their student loans?
These are all surveys, of individuals who carry loans.
Yeah, I mean, because, financial well-being is huge.
Correct.
And as employers, we tend to not think about that.
I think what we're finding out is employers don't know enough about it. And I think it's a scary thing to talk about. I mean, anything around money is sometimes scary for people to talk about. And when it comes to individuals' money, debt, well-being, most employers are not equipped to do so.
Exactly. I also think about just stress. I mean, the number one cause of stress, I'm assuming, when you're out of school is like, I got to pay these loans back. And you have an employer that's helping you pay them back faster and making it easier and so forth. That eliminates stress. So you're a better employee. I also feel it creates this bond between the employee and the employer. So there's that stickiness that's going to be there as well, too. And
right.
it probably makes it a little bit harder to leave for another job because you're like, wait a second, if I go someplace else and they're not offering this, like I'm going to be losing this key benefit that's very important to me right now.
Well, think about how short attention spans are nowadays to begin with. If you have someone sitting there worrying about how they're going to pay this month's rent or how they're going to eat or get groceries, that takes a chunk out of the day, because then that just eats away at you.
Yeah,
Well, all financial matters matter. I mean, that's
exactly.
just the truth.
Correct.
And when you have people who are suffering and under financial stress, it's very difficult, if not impossible, for them to feel valued and provide value in their workday. It's just too much. So this is great. What are your plans for 2025? What do you
That's
think?
what I want to know. Exactly right.
Well, we've actually been very fortunate. We were able to get a sizable investment from RK Mellon, another a tremendous local organization. They invested $300,000 in our platform.
Mm-hmm.
And the driving force behind that is one of our niche markets we're trying to focus on is early childhood centers, school districts in Allegheny and Westmoreland counties that are at poverty or level or below. So we're finding that there is not much. There are fewer teachers than needed in some of these child care centers, which means fewer kids can get the proper child care they need so their parents can work. So more parents are not working because they have to stay home and take care of their kids. So again, we're trying to help solve a problem of talent attraction and retention for teachers and child care workers, which in turn solves a lot of other issues in the households and the areas in which these people live. So it's a bigger issue that you could talk about Fortune 500 companies, things like that, but this hits close to home too when it comes to things like that. But this is one of the things we're really trying to focus on, as well as big chunk of our business is especially this investment that RK Mellon has given us. It's incredibly satisfying to try and think about the bigger issue we're helping to try and solve for in the Pittsburgh region.
I see how RK stepping up, being able to put this kind of money to keep you guys going, to then help attract and retain talent within early childhood. To me, it's just amazing. I just love that, and so I feel like that's a great hook to have a new teacher aide come in and then have their debt paid down. I think it's fantastic, and I keep saying only in Pittsburgh.
I think the other thing is, I hope that people who are listening really think about this. This is a perk that is not hard to offer, is definitely something that you can ebb and flow based on your financial performance of your company, right? You don't have to hold it in perpetuity. You can have agreements accordingly. And you are helping your employees who probably value this as much as health insurance, particularly for young employees who don't value health insurance the same way some of us who are older.
Some of them aren't even paying for health insurance.
Right.
They're opting out.
Right.
And it's one thing I've told not even just employers, but employees, ask your employer. I have a form letter that I've given people and emailed people to say, send this to your HR group and say,
Interesting.
I've heard about a benefit like this.
That on your website?
Something that we would consider offer? It is not, but it's something as we're trying to get a 2.0 website as well.
Okay. That'd be great.
That's very simple as well, as if you visit the site, you can see. But definitely offering, and it's funny because I actually did an event at Slippery Rock and was talking to soon to be graduating teachers there and was telling them about this benefit. And it wasn't to sell our product. It was more about creating awareness with those soon to be, graduated students to say, hey, wherever you may go to teach, ask if they offer this. And they really, they saw our banner and said LoanBye. They thought, oh, they just want to help refinance my loan or give me more loans. And I had to actually explain it to them. LoanBye, that's what the buy part is.
Yeah,
that's
bye-bye. See you later. Exactly. I love it.
But getting people to understand, not just the employers, but employees, that something like this exists is one of the big things that we need to do.
Fantastic. Well, I tell you what, Mike, we are all out of time. I wish we could keep talking because we're huge fans of what you're doing. So glad you're here in Pittsburgh doing it, without a doubt. Right. It's just one of these stories we keep telling, that Pittsburgh is a home for companies like yours, building really tough cool stuff. Simple as that. So, Michael, you're the best. Once again, go to loanby.com and check it out. Audrey, whew, what a fun time.
That was great. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Guys.
Yeah.
Everyone, we will see you next Sunday. And if you can't wait till then, go to wherever you get your podcasts. Look for TechVibe. We've got so many interviews there about all the great stuff happening here in Pittsburgh's tech ecosystem. Until then, have an awesome Sunday. This is Jonathan Kirsting.
And this is Audrey Russo.
We're from the Pittsburgh Tech Council. Go to pghtech.org, everybody. We'll see you later.
Compunetics is the leading developer of unified voice, video, and data collaboration and conferencing applications for the service provider, government, and unique workflow applications. The Summit Olympus and Evergreen platforms, driven by their encrypted user interfaces, enable powerful and secure collaboration. Combined with world-class support and innovative professional services, Compunetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com. Thanks for geeking out with us on TechVibe Radio. Tune in next Sunday for more tech and innovation stories right here from Pittsburgh. TechVibe is brought to you by Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, Kindling at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, and Savior at savior.com. And we're always coming at you from the Huntington Bank Studios.